Welcome, how's it going? In this video, we're going to do a high-level overview of SwiftUI and SwiftData by building a modern to-do list application. So we're going to go through, we've got a couple of models set up already, which I'll walk through, and then after that, we're going to jump straight into building out the screens for this application. So with that, let's jump in and get started. All right, so let's take a look here. So if we come into our models, we're going to close out this color picker here. If we come into our models, you'll notice that we have a to-do item. Our to-do item is going to have a title, a description, a priority, a due date, whether or not it's completed, a collection of tags, an array of tags, and a created at date. So if we go ahead and look at our priority first, you'll see our priority can be one of low, medium, or high. We're going to be able to set that on each individual to-do. And that's just a simple enum that we have here. And then last but not least, we have our to-do item tag. And this is going to allow us to add named tags and select a color for them for our to-do items so we can group them and filter them by tags. So those are our two models and our one enum for priority. Okay, so right now we still have our basic content view. So we scaffolded out this project. We created a new Xcode project, right? We said new iOS app, and we made sure to choose SwiftUI, Swift for the language, and then SwiftData. And what that did is that created our initial model here in our setup where we have this item, right, in this default list. Now this is going to be broken. So what we're going to do is we're just going to get rid of all of this in here for now. And we're going to remove these add item and delete item methods because we don't need those. Okay. And this is going to break, so we'll just comment that out for a second. We have a to-do item now. Oh wait, actually that won't break because that got renamed to to-do item, so that should be fine. But we do need some view element. Whoops, we're not in Vim, can't do that. All right, so that'll at least render our content view, right? So we've got that up there. Let me go ahead and zoom that in. It's really, well, that's a little too much. There we go. So there's not a whole lot going on there right now, right? We just have our models loaded. So let's see, what do we need to do in order to display our to-dos? So there's a few different things that we're going to do. Just check my notes here. Let's see, how much of this can we do all in the same view? Change. Okay, so we're gonna need to replace our content view here, right? We're gonna have a custom control in this. So first thing we need to do is we need to set up some properties here, right? So you'll see that we're loading in the model context from the environment. Great, we need that. We're also gonna want a query here on kind of like what our default query is for fetching our to-dos, right? And we're going to sort that by the to-do item created at. And then, let's see. Oops. We're going to create our to-dos, which is going to be a list of to-do item, or an array of to-do items. And then we can go ahead and get rid of this, right? Because we're going to have to-dos. And here we're going to say, we're going to create some state. So let's go ahead and set up some state here. So private var showing add to-do equals false. All right. And this will determine whether or not our action sheet is open for adding a new to-do. Var selected filter. This is going to be a type that we haven't defined yet, equals .all. And private var search text, because we're going to allow searching our to-dos, obviously. Right? Would be very useful if you couldn't search through those to find them. All right, so let's go ahead and build out this view here. So we're going to create a navigation stack. Inside of that, we're going to create a V stack, right, to align our content for vertical. And then we're going to create a filter segmented controls. And this is going to be a custom view. We haven't defined yet. We're going to pass through the selection. And that's going to be our selected filter. And then underneath that in our VStack, we're going to create a list. Oops, we don't need a path. And inside that list, we're going to iterate over our filtered do we not define our filtered to-dos? Which is going to be a property we'll define in a minute. Okay. So filtered to-dos, and they're going to say to-do in, right? Go ahead and open up our loop here, and inside of here we're going to render a to-do. It should probably be to-do item row instead of to-do row. To-do, and we're going to pass through the to-do there. And then on delete, we're going to perform delete to-dos. We'll just name this to-do row. That's fine. This is going to be a relatively simple application. We're going to get errors for all this right now because these things don't exist, and that's okay. We are going to define them in a minute. So let's just work through here. So we want to make our list searchable. So we're going to add the searchable modifier here, and we're going to pass through the search text. And then after our VStack here, we're going to go ahead and, we're going to use the navigation title. We don't need an embedded list there. To-dos. Okay. And then we're going to add a toolbar here. And inside of our toolbar, we're going to add a toolbar item. So a toolbar item here. We're going to have placement, and let's see, what do we want there? We want it to the right. Navigation bar trailing. Yep. Again, we're not going to get IntelliSense here because we've got a bunch of errors for these other things. That's okay. For our to-do bar item, we're going to open that up, and inside of there we're going to drop a button. The button's going to have an action, and we're going to update our state, right, showing to do equals true. And inside of our button we'll add a label here, and this text is for accessibility because we're just going to show a system image there of plus. Okay. And then after our toolbar, we're going to have a sheet. We're going to say is presented, and that's going to be based on our showing add to do state, right? And if that is true, then we're going to add to do view, and we're going to render that inside of our sheet. Okay, so let's comment that out. Let's see. We'll comment that out. We still need our filtered to-dos, and we still need a delete. So let's add some of this. Okay, so let's say 1, 2, 3. So right here, still inside. Here's where we're going to run or write out our filtered to-dos. So we're going to say private var. It's going to be a dynamic property, filtered to-dos. It's going to be an array of to-do items, and we're going to say var result equals to-dos. Okay, and here we're gonna apply a search filter. Okay, so we're gonna make sure the search is empty. See how much Copilot can help us here. And we're gonna say result equals result.filter. title.lowercase contains search text. Yeah, that's exactly what we want. We want to return result here at the end, but we also want to, so let's see, apply search filter, and we also want to apply status filter. Now I see this isn't displaying well for, let's see, how can we make this display well for Insta? Let's just do screen only. Let's hide the canvas. Drop it to the, no, that's not what we wanted. Let's close that. And what if we make this super small? That should drop it down. Let's see if that gets any better. Looks like it's only picking up the left side of the screen on Instagram. All right, so that looks fine there. Let's see if it's going to look better on. It really doesn't look good on Instagram, so we have to do. That looks fine there. Let's see if it's going to look better on. It really doesn't look good on Instagram, so we have to do. That looks fine there. Let's see if it's going to look. All right, so we probably just need to do Instagram, like a separate Instagram thing. All right, so we'll look at that on Instagram app later. Okay, let's just go back to full screen like we were, and we'll optimize for YouTube and Twitch because that's where you're going to be able to see this, right? And we'll have to do a separate short or cut or something. Probably need to create a new OBS scene just for Instagram to be able to flip to that. Okay, so what do we need to do? Filter to do. All right, so we need to apply the status filter in addition to the search filter, right? So for our status filter, which we haven't defined yet, so let's just go ahead and define the filter first, so you know kind of what it is, right? And let's see, what do we want to put? Let's just put this here. Let's just create a new empty file, and we're going to call this to do filter. And inside of here, we're going to create another enum to do filter, and that enum is going to have a case of all. Active, right? These are ones that you're currently working on, and like completed. And we'll add a title property as well. That's a string. Oops. Come on, Copilot. Give me some switch. Yep. Great. I don't know what that is. Oh, that was there. Not all. Yeah. Oh, that's why. Copied it there. Okay, so yeah, so that's our to-do filter. It's like either all of them, only the active ones, or completed, right? And so if we come back here now, you'll see that we can actually apply that here in a second. So let's see. Go back up to our filter. So now for our filter here that we're going to apply, we're going to say switch selected filter case all, and for all we're just going to break because we just want everything that's returned in the search filter. We don't need to filter it any further. But for active, we're going to filter the result for ones that are not completed, right? And then for completed, we're just going to filter for ones that are completed. That's simple. And in the end, we return the result. Perfect. Okay, now remember, we need that function to delete. So private func delete to-dos. We're going to take an offset index set there, and we're going to go through it, find it, and then we're going to delete that to-do. Thank you, Copilot. Highly recommend. We could do this in one line, but we'll just fetch the to-do based on the offset. We'll find it, and then we'll delete that record. Highly recommend Copilot for Xcode. It's pretty good, considering Xcode is not the best IDE when it comes to IntelliSense and whatnot. Okay, so we have our to-do filter. Let's see. We should update our preview so we can kind of take a look and see what this looks like. There are other items that we need here, right? Actually, this isn't going to render until we finish building out this view. Okay, so we have our filter. We need a couple of other things. Let's see. We'll probably rename this. So let's just rename this to main view, because it is kind of our main view for the app. And again, that should just be equals. I don't know, there's a bar there. Okay. And then we don't have a to-do row, so we can go ahead and add that. So let's add a folder in here, to-do items. And inside of that, we're gonna add a new view. And we're gonna add a SwiftUI view. To-do row. No, I'm gonna name it to-do item row. And we'll just add that. Let's go ahead and jump back here. We'll rename this to item row. Okay. So now that'll show up there, but we'll obviously need to pass in a bindable to do here so that we can let's see, var to do item, that out of the way. And then for our body here, for the row, we're gonna actually wrap the entire body in a navigation link. And for that navigation link, we're gonna give it a destination. And that destination is going to be a to-do detail view. We're going to pass in the to-do as to-do. And then inside of that, we'll have some more UI. So we'll have an HStack in here. We'll go ahead and have an image, which is going to be a system image. So system name to-do.is completed. If that's true, check mark dot circle dot fill. Otherwise, check mark dot circle. Or maybe it's just circle. Yeah, I think it's just circle. And then let's add some modifiers to that. So we're gonna add a foreground style. To do dot is completed green, otherwise gray. We'll add an on tap gesture to this, and we don't need that. In this closure, we'll do todo.isCompleted.toggle. So we can toggle the whether or not the to-do is completed. And then after our image, we'll do a VStack with some alignment of leading. And we're going to add some text for our to-do. We're not going to do a font on there right now. We are going to use the strike through modifier and based on whether it's completed. So we'll strike it out when you toggle the completed state and remove the strike otherwise. Let's see. If we have any tags, right, we're going to want to display those. And if we have tags, we're going to want to display them in a scroll view so that they're scrollable, right? And then for the scroll view, for the direction / animation or whatever, we're going to make it horizontal. And then we're going to say show indicators false because we just want this to be a simple scrollable view. And then inside of our scroll view, we're going to have an H stack. And then we're going to for each our to-do.tags. And we're going to say tag in. And then here, we're going to render our tag view. And we'll just pass the tag. And we also need, let's see. So we also need a spacer here and then an image, system name, to do dot priority dot icon. And we're going to set a foreground style there of priority color, which is going to be a method here, and it's going to take the priority. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add that method, right? So we'll do private func priority color. It's going to take a priority and it's going to return a color based on that priority. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Oh, let's make sure and rename that. Priority color. There we go. And what do we want? We want like blue. Well, we did high, medium, low. Should do low, medium, high. Let's see. Low. I want it to be blue. Medium. Orange is fine. And then high should be red. All right. Copilot was kind of helpful. Yeah, we'll pass through the priority there. And then let's go ahead and add the tag view here. So we're going to add, sorry, Command N. We're going to add a new SwiftUI view. Call it tag view. We'll go ahead and create that. And now for our tag view, it's going to be pretty simple. It's going to take a to-do tag, right? So we're going to have a let tag equals to-do tag, or to-do item tag, because that's what I called it. To-do item tag. You might want to rename that. But this is just going to take the text. It's going to take the tag dot name. And then we're just going to set some properties on it. We're going to set a caption. We are going to set a padding here, horizontal padding of, I don't know, 8. A vertical padding of 4. a background, which is going to be a color dot. This is going to be an override. Tag dot color dot opacity 0.2 dot foreground style. It's going to be color hex tag dot color, and yeah, we're going to clip a capsule shape. Okay, so let's see, where do we? Okay, so I don't think hex exists. Like I said, we're gonna have to create an extension for this. So let's go ahead and add a new folder here for extensions. And inside of here, we're gonna create a new empty file. We're gonna call this color extension.swift. And for this, I'm just gonna paste in an extension here, which is going to allow that custom initializer for hex. And so this will take a hex color and convert it to a Swift color. And we're going to need to go ahead and import foundation and SwiftUI. Okay, so let's jump back here, and now this should work because now our hex color works there. And we need a tag here. This won't work without a tag. So we're going to say tag item view, or no way, to do item tag name there we go. Of course we have some other build errors, so I don't think that's gonna work. That's okay. All right, so let's go here. To do item row, let's just comment that out for now. We don't have a detail view. We fixed a typo there, so that'll need to be fixed. Okay, so let's jump back over to our view directory, and we're gonna keep it fairly simple, but let's go ahead and just add it here. Let's see, Command N. Oops. Command N, and we're going to add a new SwiftUI view to do detail view. I'll go ahead and add that. This is just going to be var to do, and that's going to be a to do item. I'll just comment out the preview for now, come back to that. Okay, we should be able to get a build here. Great. Now we have a build. We can come back to our tag view, go ahead and reload our preview, and we'll see. Go ahead and zoom that in. You'll see our tag there. And if we gave this like, oh, I don't know. Let's find. Give it that purple color. There we go. And you can see what our tags will look like right there. All right, so next up, let's go back to our row. Let's see if our row will render here. So we need to pass through a to do for this to render, but let's see what else we're missing from our row. So we have our tag view. Should be everything we need there. So we did comment out one other view, which is our view to add a new to do. So let's go ahead and add a new view here, new SwiftUI view, and we're going to call this add to do view. I'm going to go and create that view. Let's go and rename our to-do item row as well. So we're going to right click, refactor, rename. We're just going to name this to-do row. I think that's fine, even though it's to-do items. We'll keep it nice and simple and clean for this. Okay, so this isn't going to render because we don't have a preview for it. And we do need our add to do row. So let's do this. Let's create an extension with a sample to do and an array of sample to dos that we can use in our previews. Let's find some better music as well. All right. Hey, look, we have a preview, which means we at least have a build. Okay, so let's see what we're going to do here for our so let's see. Trying to get AI to generate this for us. Although it did not do a great job at all. Let's see. All right, so for our to-do model, I mean, I guess this is technically an extension. So let's just create a new file in here and call this to-do item extension. And we're gonna have a sample to-do, and then we're gonna create some sample to-dos to have an array of to-dos that we can use. Okay. Our to-do item tag should be renamed, so let's just rename that. Refactor, rename, to-do tag. Okay, now we come back here. This should work. We don't have a calendar. Let's get our imports. So import SwiftUI. We need our argument for is completed. Feels like created at should be getting set automatically, no? Alright, so to do, wait, hold on, that's for to do item, yeah. So for to do item, created at now, right? And this shouldn't get passed through in the initializer, because that should just be set. Okay. And like, I feel like technically is completed. We could pass it through, but like, would you? I mean, it's not completed, right? By definition, we're creating it. It shouldn't be a completed to do. So we should be able to remove that requirement as well. Okay, we have a failing build, but that's fine. That's just because we can't add is completed like that. And I don't think you should be able to. By default, we're also not trying to do that. So I don't need that. Okay, so I just need some sample to-dos and a sample to-do. If we wanted to say, I don't know, one of these was completed, we could say, oh wait, we're doing this in a, what are we doing? Ah, so we're just returning like that. Okay, so we wouldn't be able to override, but that's okay. Okay, let's just keep going. We don't really care about that. We just wanted to get something there so we can preview. So if we come back to our to-do row, which requires a to-do, and this is also just to-do row. I'm just gonna take our to-do items sample, not to-do. And then where we render our row, well, right here it's just going to be the row itself, so we should be able to see that. There we go. So that's kind of what the row looks like. I feel like we probably want like something there. I don't know why the default text for it, like I get for the image, why the default text for it would be gray. Well, that'd be primary. I'm not sure where we're overriding that. That should be primary. Yeah. And then for our tag colors, because this is height, why is this that? So to do tag, that is our default color. Again. I'm not sure. So is it in our to-do item extension? Yeah. So our work tag here, again, we're just going to pick that purple color, put that in there. Now if we go back here and re-render, I should have updated. I'm not sure. Okay, well, either way, let's keep going. We're almost there. What else? For our content view, or our main view rather, let's update the preview for that. So let's go to our main view, and instead of content view, we're going to return the main view here. We don't need to return. We can't use this completed. And then our container is already defined here. Okay, so let's see. What do we need to do here to get this work? So build expression. Why are we failing? I mean, container is already defined. So let's come back to, let's just come back to the preview for this. We'll just delete it for now. Because I care more about getting a build. We can always build and run. We're not going to have any to-dos. But let's finish writing this. Let's see what else we have. We have our content view. So our filter segmented control. We need to add that. So for this, generally, I like to add a separate, like it's technically a view. It depends if it's going to get used somewhere else. You know what? Let's just drop it. I like to create a new controls directory in here. Either controls or components. Because this is kind of a component view that's meant to be reused. And then inside of here, we'll go ahead and add a new view. And this is going to be a filter segmented control. We'll go ahead and add that. And for our filter segmented control, we're going to need a binding to the selected filter. Right, so we're going to say at binding equals var selection to do filter. And then for our body here, we're going to add a picker, call it filter. We're going to pass through the selection, and that's going to be the selection binding that we just added. And then for each, and here, this is going to be a to-do filter.all, right? Because remember, that's an enum. And we're going to say the dot active dot completed. And then we're going to need to give it an ID, which is going to be self. So we'll get the object ID off of that. And here we're going to say filter in. And inside of our filter, we're going to have text. Oops. And that's going to be our title, tag, and it's going to be filter. Okay. So let's see. So filter. Okay, let's reformat here. So we're going to go edit, format, or no, editor. I forget what the keyboard shortcut is for this. Structure, reindent. Yeah. So we're going to have our picker here. We're going to set the picker style, which is going to be a modifier on the picker. To be segmented, right? Because that's what we're making. And we're just going to give it some padding. Okay. And then for our preview down here, it's going to be a constant of not all or something, right? Just so we have a value for our preview there, and this is the default one to be all. That's what it'll look like. All right, so pretty simple for now, but that's our segmented control. Now, if we jump back here where we're using that segmented control, that filter segmented control, we can go ahead and uncomment that. And we need to change our state variable here now that we've spelled filter correctly. Okay. And let's see, let's double check our to-do row. I think that's good with color. We have our tag view. We have our color extension. Okay, so I think one of our main views is going to be our add to-do view. And then our add tag view. And then our tag detail view. But let's see if we can run. We'll go ahead and change this to be just a device. 16 Pro, I believe I already have. Let's go and run this, see what we get. A little bit slow first time it launches. It's okay. All right, so there's what it looks like. We can add a to-do, and obviously we don't have our to-do form, so that would be the next thing we need to do. Pun intended. And then you'd be able to search the to-dos there, or you could filter between all active or completed. Okay, so let's jump back in and let's add our add to-do view. All right, so we're gonna have quite a bit of state to add for this view. Let's go to to-do items, add to-do view, and we're gonna need to pull in SwiftData. So we're gonna import SwiftData, and we're gonna need to load in a few things here. So we're gonna need to load in model context and dismiss from our environment, and that'll allow us to dismiss and keep track of dismissing the sheet. And then we're gonna pull in our existing tags that we have, so we can potentially tag this new to-do item. Next up, we're gonna need some default state for all of our properties, right? And so for this, we're gonna have our title, our description, priority, default will be medium, due date, that's just gonna be the current date, show due date is gonna be false, selected tags will be an empty array for now, new tag will be an empty string, and then we'll have some state determining whether we're showing our tag sheet to select our tags. Okay. So we're going to kind of run through this a little bit quickly, just for the sake of time. So let's see, what do we need to do? So we need a navigation stack, right? Inside of our navigation stack, we're going to create a form. And inside of our form, we're going to create a section. And this section is going to be to-do details. And inside of here, we're going to have a text field. And the text field is going to be title. And the text for that will be title. We'll have one for the description. Oops. And the text for that is going to be item description. We're going to set an axis of vertical for this. And then we'll set a line limit modifier here. And we'll make this like 3 to 6 lines. Next up, we're going to have a picker. And this picker is going to be for our priority. And for the priority, we're going to set the selection again. That's going to be the priority. And inside of our picker, we're going to say for each priority, all cases, right? So it's going to get all of our cases of our enum. We're going to set the ID here to self. Again, use that object ID. And then priority in. And then for each one of those priorities, we're going to create a label. And that label is going to have the priority title. It's going to have a system image of priority icon. We're going to set a foreground style here of priority color for the priority. Oops. And then we're going to tag it with the priority as well. Oops. Okay. Now, so our section opens there. Let's see, what else? We're also going to need another section for our due date. Okay. And inside of here, we'll add a toggle. Because we want to make this optional, right? You don't have to set one by default. And we'll update the state there. And we'll say if, not fif, if show due date. And if we have that, we'll go ahead and add a date picker. And we'll set the selection there to due date. And for the display components, I think we're going to do something like date and hour and minute. We don't need to be any more granular than that for the due date. Cool. All right, now we're going to add a section for our tags. Let's see, how do we want to do this? We're going to want a scroll view for this, right? Because, again, we want to be able to scroll them. We don't want to show the indicators. And then inside of our scroll view, we're going to have HStack. And then for each existing tags, for each tag, for each existing tags, tag in. And then here, we're going to add a tag selection view, which is a new view we don't have yet. We're going to say tag, pass through the tag, is selected equals selected tags dot contains tag. Right, so if the tag contains it, then we're going to show it there. We'll go ahead and open up that tag selection view, and we're going to say if selected tags contains the tag, then we're going to remove it. Else, what happened there? Xcode. Otherwise, we're going to insert the tag, and this will allow us to add and remove the tag by tapping on it, right? Which is what this tag selection view is going to end up being. Then we're going to need a button. It's going to have an action of showing showing tag sheet equals true. And then inside that we'll have the label. This label will be add tag system image of plus, good old plus. We'll have some horizontal padding of 8, vertical padding of 4. We'll have a background here of dot gray, opacity of 2, dot clip shape capsule, we'll add some vertical padding there, 1, 2, 3. We'll add our navigation tile here of new to do. Title display mode is going to be inline. And then we're going to add another toolbar here. And this toolbar is going to have an item for cancel and add, right? To basically back out or persist our change. So toolbar item, placement, navigation bar leading. We're gonna have a button in here with text of cancel, and we're gonna call dismiss. And we'll just go ahead and copy this because we're going to essentially have the same thing, but for save. Let's see. This is going to be trailing. This will be, not save, add. And in here, we'll call save to do, which is the function we'll need to add. And then we're going to call dot disable. And if the title's empty, we're going to disable this add button. Okay. And then we'll have a sheet here is presented. And that's going to be showing our tag sheet, our state rather. And then we're going to have the add tag view, which again, we don't have yet. Okay. So let's go ahead and add our function for saving a to-do. So private func add to-do. Save to-do. I'm going to say let to-do equals to-do item. Go ahead and initialize. Nope. Oh, thank you, Xcode. Slow down, please. All right, so title. Item description. Priority is going to be priority. Due date is going to be the due date. Tags is going to be an array of selection selected tags. And yeah, then we're going to say model context, insert to do, and then dismiss. And we have a couple more views, right? So let's go ahead. Let's do this. Let's add a new folder here. We're going to say tags. We're going to rename this to-dos. This tag view, I'm just going to pull in here. And then for here, we're going to add a new view here. And this is going to be our, let's see, tag selection view. And then we're also going to need an add tag view. Okay. So for our tag selection view, let's see what we need. For tag selection view, what do we need to do here? We need to keep track of the tag, right? So we're gonna have to pass in a tag here. So to do tag. Let is selected will be a Boolean, and then we're gonna have an action here, which is gonna be a closure and return void. Okay. So inside of our body, we're going to create a text view, tag.name, and then we're going to set some modifiers on it. We're set the font to caption. We're going to set horizontal padding to 8, vertical padding to 4. Our background here is going to be color, hex, tag color. Opacity is going to be based on whether it's selected. If it's selected, we'll do 0.3. Otherwise, we'll do 0.1. And our foreground style here is also going to be a color of our tag color. And we're going to clip shape, capsule. We're going to set an overlay here, which is also going to be a capsule shape. We're going to set a stroke border, and let's say it's going to be hex tag.color. Our line width there is going to be, let's see, if it's selected, right? So is selected, we'll do 1.5, otherwise 0. And what that's going to do is add a border around it if we're selected. Then we're going to create our on tap gesture, and that's going to be our action there. Okay. Let's not worry about our preview for now. Okay, now let's implement our add tag view. So for our tag view, we're going to need to import SwiftData. And we're going to need to get access to our environment. And we're going to get, so our environment, model context, oops, private var model context. And for our environment, dismiss, private var dismiss. Okay, we're gonna add some state. So private var tag name, private var selected color. It's gonna be a color, and we'll just say blue. Yeah, that's fine. Let colors equals, I'm just going to paste in some hex colors here, some predefined hex colors that you can choose. You can always update these if you want. The goal is just to get something in here. Okay, so there's our colors. Now let's go ahead and implement our view. So inside of our view, we're going to have a navigation stack. Inside the navigation stack, we're going to have a form. Inside of our form, we're going to have a text field. It's going to be tag name, text. It's going to be our tag name. And then after that, we're going to add a lazy grid, a lazy V grid. And our lazy V grid is going to have columns, which are going to be an array, repeating, grid item, flexible, and what does that need? Like 5. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's right. We're repeating. Okay, and inside of our lazy V grid, we're going to say for each colors ID self, again using that object ID, color in, and then here we're going to create a circle. Our fill is going to be color hex color. We're going to give it a frame with a width of 30 and a height of 30. We're going to give it an overlay. And inside of our overlay, we're going to have a circle shape, which is going to have a stroke border of white, and the line width is going to be based on selected color is equal to the color, and if it is 2, otherwise 0. Maybe actually type circle correctly. Let's see. Let's change that up. Okay, so if selected color is equal to color, let's see. What did I do? What did I do wrong? Okay, so for each colors, all right, which is our colors property here. Because we're inferring it here. We expect this to be a hex. So let's just do that. Then we should work from there. Go to compile. See if we hit any errors. Looks like we did. Well, looks like we need to finish up this view. Okay, so let's just finish up this view. So lazy grid for each circle on tap gesture. Overlay circle. No. Don't need any of that. Just need a closure. Okay. We're just going to set the selected color whenever you tap on it. That simple. And we'll add some padding to it. Okay. Navigation title here. It's going to be new tag, right? Nope. We're going to set the title mode to inline. And then we're going to have a toolbar here. And again, inside that toolbar, we're going to have very similar actions as before, where we're going to add we're going to either cancel let's go ahead and go to editor, structure, reindent. Okay. We're going to have that cancel action, or we're going to have an add action to save our tag. And then we're going to have a function to save our tag there. Okay. I should be able to preview. I think we're still getting a build error for our previous views. Let's see what we missed there. So it's something in our body. For adding our to do, right? Add to do view. There's something we did there. Let's see if that fixed it. Yeah, There we go. So now we can see our form here for adding a new to-do. You can select the priority level. If we toggle this, then we can select the date and time that it's due. And you could add a new tag here, give it a name, say work, tag that one, maybe purple, add. And now that should have added a tag. I guess it's not going to because we're in the preview. Okay, so let's go to actually let's go ahead and run. Let's go ahead and build and run. And let's add a new to-do. Or I think we're still commenting that out. So let's come back to our main view here and let's remove this comment and let's run that again. Okay, so now we can add a new to-do. We're going to say read a book. Lag. We're going to say that's a medium priority. Let's add a tag of reading. And we'll choose add, and that adds it there. We need to fix kind of the styling of that, but that's fine. Let's go ahead and click tab add, and you'll see read a book, right? We don't have our detail view yet, so you can't see that. We can say live stream more. You can see that's a high priority, and let's do this with yellow. Go ahead and add. You'll see that shows up there. Tag, tab add. Cool. And of course we can't do anything with it. And like we said before, if we select it, it'll turn it green and strike through. Tap it again and we'll undo it. We can see completed, active, or all. So if we make one of these completed, we're only going to see active there and only completed here, or all of them there. And if we search, we can search and filter through our to-do items. So that's pretty cool. I think in the next stream, we will go through and implement the details view, maybe polish this up a little bit and add a few more things, but that should give you a rough idea of what it takes to go through and build out something in SwiftUI using SwiftData for persistence and having a couple of different views there that work together. We extracted out a custom component, custom control. We have separate models and a pretty good project structure overall as well. So hopefully you learned something from that. Until next time, keep coding. See you later.